Today we need to get into the label confirming something about Jin and what is going on with that. It's very exciting. And then we also have people rumoring that he is out of the military right now and is at a cafe with his potential girlfriend or wife. And I need to get into why this theory is floating around and what people are saying about it. And then we have a video showing V and his body, and people are excited about that. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Make sure you join us fangirling on Patreon with some free content on Saturdays now, and let's go. So something came out today that I thought was very interesting, and I want to explain why. This of course involves V and him doing some TikTok videos. It was TikTok-like videos, but it was posted on Instagram. So of course I have to specify that, so you don't go to the TikTok account to look for it. It's on his Instagram. He posted a dancing video, and the dancing video showcased specifically his dance moves, but also his body. Now it was my personal belief, or what I was aware of, that any type of content that came out now that BTS was in the military would probably be pre-recorded content, and it wouldn't be any new content. However, a lot of people were looking at his dance videos and realizing that this was definitely a new piece of content. The way that they realized this was because the video showcased V with a very much larger body than what he looked like before. And you can actually see, even though he's wearing very baggy clothes, you can actually see his chest and you can see his frame overall looks a lot bigger. This of course means that it's probably a more recent video, as that's what V looks like now that he's been in the military and he's been exercising a lot. Now of course, as he gets bigger and buffer, this does mean that he is going to look older, which of course means that at the time when he was not enlisted, he may not have chosen to pursue this route of getting super buff because he wanted to appear younger. Now that he knows that when he comes out of the military, he is going to be seen as a full adult and a full man by Korean standards. He's going to want to try to aim to look a lot bigger. Also, it's just easier to dance. It's easier to do a lot of stuff when your physique is a lot slimmer, so maybe he won't be doing as much dancing when he comes out. I don't know. People were really freaking out about this because you could really see that his figure was a lot bigger, and a lot of netizens were praising him about this. V was likely trying to hide his physique, which is why he probably was wearing more baggier clothes, but it doesn't matter how baggy the clothes are. If you're buff, people can see it. They can also see it on your face, they can see it in your shoulders, they can see it in your pecs, they can just see it. However, while a lot of people were very shocked about his physique and how he looks, to me this was something that was merely obvious, because as he goes to the military and it's his job to work out 24/7, then he's going to look bigger. I'd be more freaked out if even after all of that he didn't get any bigger. The thing that shocked me more was that he was recording a video while he was in the military. I did see a little while ago that the Korean government was thinking about passing a law that allowed the BTS members to work while enlisted, so they were allowed to still make music, they were allowed to still dance and perform and all that stuff while enlisted. However, now that I go and look, I can't really find any specific thing about that, nor can I find if there's an actual law that will let them do that. Of course, I don't think they broke any laws, because I think him dancing and posting something on social media isn't necessarily working. I mean, you can consider it work. I think you can also consider it not working, because I think the soldiers, while they're in the military, they're still posting on social media. So a lot of that stuff is still kind of a gray area. V is not going on TV shows, he's not doing anything like that, so I think he can still get away with this without breaking any rules. However, the BTS members won't have to worry about potentially breaking rules or anything like that. Not that they did, but they won't have to worry any longer, because pretty soon all of them will be coming back, starting with Jin, and he is actually coming back in 2 weeks. This is all very exciting, and it's hard to believe that any of the members are coming back because it feels like they just went to the military. But it's still very exciting, and I think we are all anticipating it. So as we know, Jin is coming back first, and the label actually decided to put out a statement talking about what to expect when he comes back. So the statement said that they wanted to do a sort of fan meet for Jin. The fan meet includes meeting him. It includes, I think, a bunch of really cute interactions that the community can do with him, and I think there's going to be 2 rounds of this. I didn't fully understand what the statement meant, but it seemed like there was going to be 2 rounds of this. So if you can't get the first round, you might be able to get the second one. I don't know. But the first round is not going to be live streamed, so it's just going to be an intimate moment with however many people that end up going, and then the second one is the one that might be live streamed on Weverse, and we can all see it, I think. Now, there was something in the statement that people thought was very cute, which was that Jin apparently personally requested that he wanted to give the people who came a hug. And a lot of people thought that was so sweet, that it just wasn't like he was holding this fan meet and he was getting out of the military and that he would just be annoyed to do it, but it seemed like he was more than excited to do it, and it was something that he probably requested and wanted to do himself. And he definitely wanted to make the experience very memorable. This seems like a moment that is more so for him than it is for any person in the community, that he is probably missing the interaction. He is missing being in front of people. And you know, of course, he is in front of people, but he's not in front of people who love him and support him all the time, singing and all that stuff and performing. A lot of it's just enjoying performing and being on stage and showing your art, but also a lot of it is just being in front of people and having a moment to talk to a lot of people, to get your message out there, to be in the press again and all of that sort of stuff. This is really a great way for him to kind of make a splash back into it. The first one that is not going to be broadcasted online would probably be more of an intimate moment for him, and he's kind of taking it and enjoying it. While the second one probably would be one that would end up making a lot more headlines and would be something that would get a lot of attention. So chances are, if he does have an album or he does have anything to promote, he's likely going to promote that on the second one, if he wants to get a lot of press and that sort of stuff. There were also rumors that he had apparently left in the military, which is an interesting rumor, I think, because I don't know if he was allowed to leave early or what the situation was. I know with school and maybe even sometimes with work, you're allowed to take the last week off if you're leaving. So for work, obviously, you can just take the last few weeks kind of easy because you're quitting anyway. Or for school, especially if it's within your last few weeks of school, you don't really have to do much and your teachers are probably not really teaching much anyway. I don't know if this is the case with the military. If it's his last 2 weeks, is he really going to have an easier time and he's not really going to have much to do? I don't think you can just kind of waltz in and out of the camp. I don't know if that's the case. However, there was a rumor that came out, and I don't know if this is AI content or if this is a real story. However, it's something that I can't really find online where people are talking about, which is apparently Jin receiving a cake that was a military cake and a congratulations for finishing the service. And he was apparently spotted in a cafe with a girlfriend, or people saying that this could have been his wife. I couldn't find any specific news headlines that said this, and I definitely couldn't find any pictures. But apparently there was something that happened, and people were thinking that this is a woman that he was dating. Now, if this story is true and people did see him with someone with a cake, then of course that makes sense. Now, that now he's in his 30s. I don't think he's 30 anymore. I think he's past that. And him being married, him having a girlfriend, all extremely normal things. It would be strange if he didn't do those things and he wanted to. So it's different if you just want to be single and you don't want to be with anyone. But if he's someone that wants to get married and settle down or whatever and hasn't made any strides or effort to do that, that's actually more strange than if he were to have a partner. So I say all this because I don't think he's allowed to just leave, even though he's so close to leaving now. And I also just don't think that he would have someone just kind of waiting for him at a cafe, because I just haven't seen any of those stories and I can't find any photos, even though people are just saying there's photos. But this is just one of those things where you shouldn't just believe everything you read online. And it's interesting because I'll see posts like that and it seems like everyone just kind of believes it and there's no one objecting to it and there's no hate, but then I'll see a post of people debunking those things and those posts will get hate. So it's very odd to me. But as always, I'm trying to be here to tell you the truth as best as my understanding, and I'm always going to try to tell people what I think and what I believe is true and what I believe isn't. So if you like that, definitely give me a follow and check out some of my other videos. So let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just love the comment right here. Love you, bye.